Hello there, fellow Salemites. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep, and I mean deep, into the twisted, emotional, and always unpredictable world of days of our lives. It's Christmas 2025, everyone. But as we all know, in Salem, Merry Christmas usually comes with a side of kidnapping, a dash of corporate backstabbing, and a whole lot of hospital room drama. I've been scouring the latest spoilers, and let me tell you, the week of December 22nd is going to be an absolute roller coaster. We aren't just getting tinsel and carols, we are getting game-changing shifts for some of our most iconic characters. I've broken down the 3 must-watch moments that will define this holiday season. So, grab your cocoa or maybe something stronger, considering what these characters are going through, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of these Salem secrets. 1. The Horton heartbreak. Why Julie's no Christmas rule is a stroke of genius. First, we have to talk about the soul of Salem, the Horton family. For decades, the Horton Christmas ornament ceremony has been the bedrock of this show. Seeing those crystal balls with names like Alice, Tom, and Doug isn't just a tradition, it's a sacred ritual for us fans. But this year, the legendary Julie Williams, the incomparable Susan Seaforth Hayes, is doing the unthinkable shiz, putting the brakes on Christmas. Now, some fans might think, Julie, how could you? The kids need the holiday, but let's look at the psychology here. Julie is the matriarch. She carries the weight of the family's legacy on her shoulders. With Chad DiMera missing, the house feels empty. Chad isn't just another DiMera, he's the link to Abigail, the father of Alice and Thomas. Julie knows that trying to force a ho-ho-ho atmosphere when everyone is terrified for Chad's life would be an insult to their pain. My theory and analysis, I actually find this move incredibly profound. It shows Julie's growth from the impulsive girl she once was to a woman of deep emotional intelligence. She's protecting those children from the fake happy syndrome. However, keep your eyes on Jeremy Horton Michael Rourke. He's stepping up to help Julie, but is it just family loyalty? Jeremy has always been a bit of a wild card. I suspect he might be hiding information about Chad's whereabouts perps to save the day later and cement his place in the family hierarchy. Think back to how many times a Horton has gone missing during the holidays. It's a classic trope, but this time it feels heavier. If Chad doesn't make it back for the ornament hanging, it signals a dark shift for the Hortons in 2026. What do you guys think? Is Julie being too dramatic, or is she the only one being honest about the tragedy unfolding? 2. The unholy alliance, Gabi Hernandez and Gwen Recheck. Next up, we have a pairing that I did not see coming, but now that it's happening, I am obsessed. Gabi Hernandez and Gwen Recheck. Talk about a bad girl power hour. Gabi is currently spiraling because her high-stakes deal with Tony DiMera has crumbled into dust. And Gabi, when backed into a corner, is like a cornered panther, dangerous and unpredictable. On the other side of the room, we have Gwen, who is sweating bullets because her secret with EJ DiMera is leaning dangerously close to the light of day. The commentary you need. Why does this bond matter? Because in Salem, friendship is rarely about liking someone, it's about leverage. These 2 women are survivors. They've both been the villain in other people's stories, and they both know what it's like to be discarded by the elite families of Salem. I've seen some fans on social media saying they hate this duo, but I disagree. I think it's brilliant. Gabi has the corporate fire, and Gwen has the British grit and back-alley sneakiness. My speculation, I'm calling it now. Gabi and Gwen are going to form a vengeance pact. Gabi needs to reclaim her power at DiMera Enterprises, and Gwen needs to keep EJ quiet. If they pool their secrets, they could essentially blackmail half of the town by New Year's Eve. But here's the kicker: who betrays whom first? My money is on Gwen. She's a professional at self-preservation, and Gabi's temper often makes her blind to a knife in the back. This isn't just a friendship, it's a ticking time bomb. 3. The redemption of Kristen DiMera. The Brisson turning point. Finally, let's talk about the heavy hitter of the week, Kristen DiMera's life-or-death crisis. The spoilers for the week of December 22nd indicate that the hostages are finally being freed. But the timing is bittersweet because Kristen Stacy Duke is in a bad way. We're talking emergency room, monitors beeping, life hanging by a thread kind of bad. And who is the first person at her bedside? Brady Black. This is the moment Brisson fans have been waiting for, but it's wrapped in so much conflict. Brady is furious. He finds out that Kristen kept secrets regarding their daughter, Rachel. He wants to scream at her. He wants to hold her accountable, but then he sees her. He sees the mother of his child fighting for her life. Deep dive analysis. This is the classic Brady Black dilemma. The man loves a reclamation project. I've watched Brady for years, and his greatest weakness and strength is his capacity for forgiveness. When he realizes that Kristen's crazy actions were driven by a warped sense of protection for Rachel, his heart starts to melt. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Sarah Horton. Remember when Kristen kidnapped Sarah and sent her to a private island? Yeah, the fans haven't forgotten, and I'm pretty sure Sarah hasn't either. If Brady softens toward Kristen now, it's going to ignite a firestorm with Sarah. I personally think Kristen is genuinely trying to change. Her loyalty to the DiMera honor is shifting into something more maternal and less transactional. But is it too little, too late? The Stefan factor. The hostages think Stefan DiMera is the mastermind behind their kidnapping. If that's true, Kristen is technically a victim of her own brother. This creates a fascinating dynamic. Kristen versus the DiMera legacy. I predict that, if she survives, Kristen will turn her back on the family name entirely to prove her love to Brady. But can a DiMera ever truly change their spots? I'm skeptical, but boy, am I excited to see Stacey Hyduke act the house down in these hospital scenes. Bonus, the Paulina Price plot twist. And because Days loves to keep us on our toes, we're getting some potentially joyous news amidst the chaos. Rumor has it Paulina Price is about to become a grandmother again twice over. There is heavy speculation that both Lonnie and Chanel might be pregnant at the same time. Can you imagine the chaos? Paulina Price, Jackie Harry managing to pregnant daughters while trying to run the city. That is the kind of comedic relief we need to balance out the DiMera gloom. I'm placing my bets now. Paulina is going to try to micromanage their diets, their nurseries, and their lives, leading to a hilarious Price family explosion by the time the babies are due. Final thoughts and future predictions. As we head into the final days of 2025, Salem is at a crossroads. We're seeing the old guard Julie struggling with the loss of tradition, the new bad girls, Gabi and Gwen, rewriting the rules of the game, and the eternal struggle for the soul of Kristen DiMera. Here is my wild theory for the new year. I don't think Stefan is the one who kidnapped the DiMeras. It feels too obvious. I think there is a ghost from the past returning, Zamin, who wants to dismantle the DiMera empire from the inside out. Could it be a resurrected Peter Blake? Or maybe someone we haven't seen in decades? What are your thoughts, Salem fans? Do you think Brady should forgive Kristen, or is he just falling for her damsel in distress act again? Are you Team Gabi or Team Gwen in their new alliance? And most importantly, do you think Chad will make it home in time to see his ornament on the Horton tree? Drop your theories in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I love seeing how your predictions match up with mine. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and subscribe so you never miss a beat of the Salem drama. Keep watching Days of Our Lives on Peacock, and I'll be back here soon to break down the fallout of these massive Christmas revelations. Until then, stay dramatic, Salem. Next, we will learn about the latest twists and turns shaking Salem as Days of Our Lives delivers an episode packed with stubborn resolve, quiet scheming, and revelations that may finally crack the DiMera mystery wide open. The episode opens on a deceptively calm note, with Leo and Javi sharing a rare moment of domestic peace as they wrap Christmas presents together. Their conversation drifts through memories of holidays past, highlighting how differently they each experienced Christmas growing up. Leo recalls elaborate traditions and dramatic family gatherings, while Javi speaks more cautiously, noting that Diana Colville never cared much for the holiday spirit. This contrast subtly reinforces how love and celebration in Salem are often complicated by old grudges and unresolved trauma. Beneath the warm lights and ribbon-strewn table, there is an undercurrent of tension that never truly leaves these characters. As the gift wrapping continues, the topic naturally shifts to Leo and Javi's upcoming wedding. What should be a joyful planning session instead becomes a strategic discussion shaped by fear and uncertainty. The disappearance of the DiMera family looms large, casting a long shadow over their future. EJ's threats remain fresh in their minds, especially for Javi, who worries that poking into DiMera affairs could invite serious consequences. Leo, however, refuses to let the story die quietly. His determination is not just professional, it is deeply personal. He believes that silence only protects the powerful, and he is unwilling to play that role. Leo frames his obsession as journalistic integrity, insisting that truth matters regardless of who gets hurt along the way. Yet his motivations are clearly layered. Digging into EJ's secrets risks reigniting conflict with Gwen, someone he has a complicated history with. At the same time, Leo sees an opportunity. If he uncovers enough damaging information, he might finally sever Gwen's bond with EJ or even rebuild their fractured friendship. In Leo's world, ethics and self-interest often walk hand in hand, and he sees no contradiction in using one to serve the other. The narrative then pivots to Kat, whose quiet diligence may prove far more impactful than Leo's bold theatrics. Rafa catches her deeply focused at his FBI computer, combing through restricted files in search of Chad DiMera. The moment raises serious questions about interagency boundaries and protocol, but Salem has long been a place where rules bend under pressure. Kat's methodical approach contrasts sharply with Leo's impulsiveness, underscoring how different paths can lead toward the same truth. Kat's investigation yields a crucial lead. Peter had secretly traveled to Aremid, a move that immediately raises suspicion. Even more telling, his phone signal indicates that he remained there longer than expected. This discovery reframes the entire DiMera disappearance, suggesting careful planning rather than a spontaneous vanishing. Rafa reacts quickly, dispatching agents to follow up, but the sense is clear time is slipping away, and whoever orchestrated this has stayed one step ahead for far too long. Meanwhile, Leo attempts to insert himself into the investigation in his own unmistakable way. He calls Kat while pretending to be hospital staff, hoping to extract confidential lab information through sheer audacity. It is a classic Leo maneuver, bold, unethical, and rooted in the belief that charm can overcome any barrier. This time, however, the attempt fails completely. Kat is not fooled, and Leo is left momentarily exposed, reminded that not every door in Salem opens to manipulation. Rafa returns home ready to confront Leo over his reckless interference, but events take another sharp turn. Kat calls with a critical update. Peter is no longer in Aremid. He had only stayed for a few hours before disappearing again, suggesting that Aremid was merely a waypoint, not the final destination. Even more unsettling is Kat's conversation with a longtime DiMera gardener who reported hearing strange, unexplained noises coming from the family tomb. This detail sends a chill through the investigation, reviving old legends and fears surrounding the DiMera legacy. At last, the pieces begin to align. Kat believes she has solved the core of the case, identifying the tomb as a central location in the mystery. The DiMera family's disappearance may not be as distant or as final as everyone assumed. The tomb, long treated as a symbol of death and secrecy, now emerges as a place of activity and concealment. Salem's past and present collide in this revelation, reminding viewers that the DiMeras never truly live, they simply hide. As Rafa processes this breakthrough, Leo adds one final, unsettling detail. He claims to have heard noises near the DiMera tomb himself, all the way back on Halloween night. The admission reframes weeks of unanswered questions, suggesting that warning signs were present long before anyone recognized them. It also raises doubts about how much Leo knew and how long he kept that knowledge to himself. The episode closes with a sense of uneasy momentum. Leo remains defiant, Kat stands confident in her conclusions, and Rafa is left balancing duty, trust, and urgency. With Christmas approaching and secrets surfacing from beneath stone and soil, Salem is once again reminded that the past is never truly buried and that persistence, whether noble or self-serving, can change everything.